All right, we're going to go ahead and call this workshop to order.
Mr. Chairman, we need to get our secretary in place.
I didn't
before
even- Well, we'll wait for Jan.
This one.
Yeah, strike that, we're not.
We'll do a take two and
Yeah.
a clapboard.
Hey, when Jan comes in, everybody stand up and give her a standing ovation. Okay. All right, we will now call this workshop into order, and we'll go ahead and move down. So, board members, as we move down, if there's anything you need to stop me on, there is staff here, Mr. Superintendent. I believe they're here to answer any questions. So we'll move on to approval of the agenda. 2.1 will be changes to agenda and approval of agenda. And we have a slate full of recognitions on Monday night, which is always a great thing. 3.1 will be the recognition of Caleb Crumnow, Crestview High School 2022 Florida High School Athletic Association Class 3A state champion in the 219-pound boys weightlifting class, the snatch event. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. We did have one added to the changes to the agenda. We did have one added item, and that would be 8.35 Triumph Gulf Coast Health Academy of Northwest Florida grant funding application presented by April Branscombe, Program Director, Career and Technical Education, and recommended by the Superintendent for approval. Thank you, Ms. Crawford, for reminding me of that. 3.2 is now the recognition of Carter Glenn, Baker School 2022 Florida High School Athletic Association Division 1A state champion in the 139-pound boys weightlifting class snatch event. 3.3, recognition of Allison Baggett, Baker School 2022 Florida High School Athletic Association Class 1A state champion in the 110-pound girls weightlifting class, snatch lift, and traditional events. And 3.4, recognition of Radiah Lewis, Baker School 2022 Florida High School Athletic Association Class 1A state champion in the girls unlimited weightlifting class, snatch lift event. 3.5, Children in Crisis Change for Children campaign, and I believe this will be on Monday night. And then 3.6, always one of my favorite times of the year is when we do the recognition of the 2021 through 2022 Kids Tag Art Program winners, and this will be presented by the Honorable Ben Anderson, our Okaloosa County tax collector.
Hey, you know, I'd like to get one of those. How do we get those?
I think you do that through the tax collector's office.
Okay, so you can get those, because I know you choose one for your, as superintendent, so that's a neat idea, so.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe I think the board should have one. so.
I think you can purchase them online.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so at this time, we have no visitors on the agenda. Section 5 is administrative personnel appointments. 5.1 will be the appointment of principal, Ruckle Middle School. 5.2 will be the appointment of principal, Longwood Elementary School. And then 5.3, appointment of assistant principal 2, 12-month, Bruner Middle School. 5.4 will be the appointment of assistant principal 2, 10-month, Antioch Elementary School. And I believe, Dr. Hale, you said these will be sent to us with.
This morning. This
Okay.
morning we got them.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Section 6 is public comment. 6.1, members of the public desiring to address the school board, Form MIS 5241. Public input and/or discussion of agenda items. This is the 4-minute version of public comment. And of course, we never know until Monday night. Section 7 is committee and staff reports. 7.1 is in-county travel paid for the period of April 21 through May 4th, 2022. And 7.2 is out-of-county travel paid for the period of March 24th through May 4th, 2022. And now we'll move down to Section 8, Consent Agenda. 8.1 will be the approval of the consent agenda. 8.2 will be the approval of minutes of the student disciplinary hearings of May 5th, 2022, minutes of workshop meeting of May 5th, 2022, minutes of regular meeting of May 9th, 2022. 8.3, appropriation of District 2 School Board member capital outlay funds to Elliott Point Elementary School for fence screening in the amount of $3,436.86, presented by Ms. Marty Gardner. 8.4, appropriation of District 3 School Board member capital outlay funds to Riverside Elementary School for acrylic signs in the amount of $523.08, presented by Ms. Linda Vancheck. 8.5, appropriation of District 5 School Board member capital outlay funds to Okaloosa STEM Academy for smart TVs, mounts, and stands in the amount of $16,083.34, presented by Dr. Diane Kelly. 8.6, appropriation of District 5 School Board member capital outlay funds for to Okaloosa STEM Academy for Apple TVs in the amount of $2,682, presented by Dr. Diane Kelly. 8.7, appropriation of District 5 School Board member capital outlay funds to Okaloosa STEM Academy for iPads in the amount of $5,332, presented by Dr. Diane Kelly. And 8.8, appropriation of District 5 School Board member capital outlay funds to Edge Elementary School for classroom flooring in the amount of $27,704.28, presented by Dr. Diane Kelly. 8.9, request to advertise a public hearing for adoption of the 2022 through 2023 Codes of Student Conduct, elementary and secondary, presented by Brian Humphrey.
I-
I was going to ask Mr. Humphrey to come up. Is that what you're going to do?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, let's do it then. But that's quite a request. You're in demand. Ms. Gardner, I'll go ahead and let you start.
And I was just gonna ask if there's, any major differences. I mean, I kind of perused through both of those. I didn't really see anything, but didn't know if there was any, major changes.
So there's no changes to the student code of conduct, except for the last page. There was some contact information that that has been updated because phone numbers and email addresses changed.
Correct.
But other than that, the body of the student conduct is the same as it was the previous year.
Do we still provide parents with a hard copy of this at the beginning of the year? I know it's
At every
online
school.
for parents, and they can go Okaloosa County School District and find it. They can go to their to their school's website, but are they, parents still provided a hard
So
copy?
we print out a hard copy for every student, and they are given out at the beginning of the school, and the students sign for receiving those.
Perfect, okay.
Yes.
And that was really my question about, I've had it said to me, in the last year or so that coming out of COVID, that we as a board, as a district, have not been as stringent on our student conduct as in the past. And so I just wanted to make sure that we are letting the public know what the conduct expectations are in our district, and that's what you're saying. And then, and the ways that we're getting this out to the parents and the public of what our expectations are legally. But you're saying there's no changes, but that we are getting, and they distribute it the beginning of the school year, correct? And get that out. And we are, of course, following all those guidelines. And then I did ask you about a matrix that we follow, and that is not sent out, but it could be accessed by a parent or whatever they want to, right?
So the matrix is not a part of the student code of conduct. It's a guideline for
Right.
discipline consequences. But yes, that can be discussed with parents.
Gotcha, okay, thank you,
Yes.
appreciate that.
Well, I
And Ms.
think after-
Ivanchik, I appreciate the fact that this morning, we had 5 student disciplinary
Mhm.
hearings that support the fact that those are given out and our principals
Exactly.
are aware, and our disciplinarians at the school sites are taking care of that for us. And
Yes.
as you are, Mr. Humphrey.
We are
Thank
taking
you.
discipline serious.
Very
Yes, we are.
seriously, very seriously.
Any other questions?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Humphrey. 8.10 will be Budget Amendment Number 8, Fiscal Year 2021 through 2022, presented by Ms. Julie Perry. And then 8.11, Monthly Financial Statement for April 2022, presented by Julie Perry. Invoices, 8.12, invoices to be approved for payment. 8.13, school donations. 8.14 payroll warrant register and accounts payable warrant register for April 2022 totaling $34,940,370.26, and bank transfers for April 2022 totaling $60,000. 8.15 fiscal year 2022 through 2023 child care fee changes. 8.16 renewal of ITB 17-03 fire extinguishers and kitchen hood systems inspections, maintenance and repair. 8.17 tag on bid ITB 22C-45K term contract to repair motorized and refurbished bleachers and basketball backstops. 8.18 tag on bid ITB 22-F-236 ramp systems and stair systems. 8.19 tag on bid purchase over $25,000 office equipment company of Mobile. 8.20 exempted purchase over $25,000 Institute for Multi-Sensory Education. 8.21 exempted purchase over $25,000 contract for health services for school year 2022 through 2023. Ms. Schroeder, I believe you'd like to address the board as well as Ms. Bobby Davis. It's great to see both of y'all this morning.
Good morning. It is always my privilege to ask Bobby to come when we present this contract to share the great work that our partnership and collaboration with Aviana does with us every year. And so she wanted to present to you today a copy of the services that her team has provided to all of our schools. So I'm going to let her share and I'll hand these out to you.
Okay.
Good morning. Thank you for letting me come speak with you this morning again. So what she's handing out is just a basic spreadsheet. It's an Excel spreadsheet that we can keep track of all of our clinic visits as much as we possibly can. So if you just want to look through it real quick, right now at this point, so up to this point, this is all approximate because we haven't finished out the school year yet, but we're right, just for the total medications that we've administered this school year, we're at close to 55,000 doses of medication that we've given in our schools. So our clinics are becoming more and more busy, and this is just one of the few things that we've done. And if you go all the way to the bottom, you can see the total number of visits in our clinics. We're at about 176,000 clinic visits, and that's just for medical needs, stomach aches, ice packs, Band-Aids, medication administration, tube feedings. That doesn't include all the health checks that we've done this year with COVID, which has really been overwhelming. But we're standing strong, and I think my staff is doing a fabulous job, and I'm very pleased to be a part of the school district. Do y'all have any questions on the breakdown?
Just a comment of how very appreciative we are of
absolutely.
all that you do. And having served on that team with you and Terry, I've gotten to hear the backstories of some of the things you all have done, and I couldn't be prouder of the work that you do for our students in our schools. So thank you.
Thank you.
And as far as COVID, can you kind of tell us how that's looking for you?
Can I knock on wood first?
Please, yes.
We're doing very well right now. Our numbers are almost none. We still do have cases, but we're not seeing the caseload by any means that we've seen, especially 2 years ago when it started. So the last 2 years have been really, really trying and really challenging. But we've, right now, knock on wood, our numbers are almost non-existent.
So you're basically getting back to general
As
nursing.
normal. I never
Yeah.
thought the day would come that we would be able to be normal again in school
Right.
health. But yes, as normal as it can be, we are getting back there.
Yes. Again, thank you so very much, especially what you've done over the last couple of years, all of your workers. We appreciate so much those efforts and taking care of our students and
Well, thank
maybe
you for
sometimes
letting us be
faculty
a part
too.
of it.
Do you want to just remind parents to pick up their medications by the last
Yes,
day of
ma'am.
school?
Yes, ma'am. If,
There's always
Yes. Medication will be discarded at the end of the
last day of
school, the
school.
very last day of school. So
That's
yes,
expensive
it's very
stuff.
expensive. And when we have to destroy those meds, it's so disheartening because it is very, very expensive. So, if parents can get there, please, encourage them to come get it, because I would love to be able to use that medication again next year and not have to destroy it.
And how are you looking employee-wise, looking strong, that you have enough workers, and it's probably never enough, right?
There's never enough. We've been shorthanded, and this year with COVID, again, it's been very, very trying, trying to keep our clinic staffed. But right now, I have a very strong, very good group. I couldn't be prouder of the way they work together and help each other out. And, you know, we're 6 o'clock in the morning, our phones start ringing, and we determine the need and try to prioritize each clinic as to where our staff need to go. And I have right now I have a very, very good, strong group. So I'm hoping that they all decide to come back next year and spend another year with us. But I'm very pleased with all those that are working with us right now.
Great, thank you.
Well, and I just want to say how grateful we are that you folks work with us and help us in our schools. When I look at these numbers, it's more than impressive on how many kids and staff and all the other folks that you guys see during the course of a day. And I remember many, many years ago when I first became a principal, a senior principal told me, he said, the first thing you do is you get a school nurse or a school health person. And I'm sitting here, I'm worrying about ABCs and all those kinds of things, and he was exactly right. And I found out just how valuable the services that you guys provide are, and that was back before the school district even had a contract or engaged in any kind of services. But for all those years and today, thank you for everything you do for our kids and faculty and staff.
Again, thank you for letting us be a part of it. I love my job. I can't imagine doing anything other than school health right now. So I've been very blessed to be a part of the Okaloosa County School District for, I think this is I think I'm on 16 years now. So I can't imagine being anywhere else.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, I could say that Bobby Davis was the best school nurse that my children had. So
Thank you.
not only was she, I've said this before, not only was she the school nurse, but she directed traffic out there when it was pickup time and all that.
Yeah.
That's how I got to know her. She was holding up the stop sign and everything. So, right,
Mr.
thank you.
Bryant, I
Yeah.
just want to say I appreciate the board's sentiments here, and I think you guys nailed it. You know, the course of the last 2 years, if we didn't have our health techs, if we didn't have our nurses at the schools, I can't imagine what it would have been like. But not only do the nurses at the schools do an absolutely fantastic job in the health techs, but also Bobby Davis and her staff, they fill in where there's gaps. As you remember, when we were doing contact tracing, we would not have been able to get through that without Ms. Davis's leadership and that of her team. But what they do is important. You know, we talk about OCSD family and their contracted services, but they are absolutely OCSD family. Just appreciate what y'all do.
Thank you.
And just to piggyback real quick on what the superintendent has said, you know, one of the things that their team and their involvement allows is the acuity of children that we're seeing with medical conditions in our district has increased. Not sure why, but we have quite a few pretty brittle diabetics. We have kids coming in with some serious asthma, not to mention just the day-to-day things that happen. And part of the work they do is they keep those kids in school. They allow those kids the opportunity to come to school, give parents peace of mind. One of the things that her supervisors do that I just need to brag on as a colleague and a fellow RN is they go to those meetings. They meet with those parents for 504 meetings, for IEP meetings. So her supervisors even delve right into the day-to-day work in our schools with those types of meetings, giving those parents that peace of mind that your child's going to be taken care of while they're here at school. And so, again, without them, it would be really, really hard to meet the needs of all of our kids across the district. So, the contract is also before you. Do you have any questions about the actual contract that we're looking at for Monday night? Excellent.
You know, another thing I was thinking about where you're talking about, Ms. Schroeder, is that we're so focused and we need to be on mental health. And I believe your techs also play a big role in that, because, you know, that little third grader's bellyache might actually be something that's bothering him or her, not so much a physical. So I'm sure you work with mental health counselors and everything you can see that, you know, when you're in there with your expertise and knowing when it truly is a bellyache or is it something that's troubling that child. And we appreciate that too, because it does take everybody playing that role to make sure that our students are okay physically and mentally.
Thank you. Okay, thank you guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so now we'll move down to item 8.22, professional service agreement number 22-105, Emerald Coast Design Build Incorporated, doing business as Winfrey Engineering. 8.23 is the sale and disposal of fish parcel 69. 8.24 will be the sale and disposal of fish parcel number 76. 8.25, sale and disposal of surplus property. 8.26, motor vehicle lease agreement for disaster transportation services between the School Board of Okaloosa County and the Air Force Enlisted Village Incorporated, doing business as Hawthorne House. 8.27, Okaloosa County School District 2023 through 2024 school calendar. 8.28, summer 2022 agreement between the School Board of Okaloosa County, Florida and the Boys and Girls Club of the Emerald Coast Incorporated. 8.29, community education summer driver education program. 8.30, contract for full-service schools between the State of Florida Department of Health and the School Board of Okaloosa County. 8.31, cooperative agreement between Florida Diagnostic Learning Resource Systems, Florida Department of Education discretionary project, and Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa counties. 8.32, First Amendment to Grant Award Agreement between Triumph Gulf Coast Incorporated and the School Board of Okaloosa County, Florida. And Ms. Branscombe, I see you're in here. Did you want to say anything about that? I know you're excited about this, so I was going to give you an opportunity to.
I can always talk about CTE.
Yeah.
So first of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak this morning. This amendment allows us to make the change that we needed to make, because when we were working with the University of Florida, originally we had said that we were going to cover those expenses for the University of Florida, but it came in a little bit higher than we expected. So we amended our budget asking Triumph to cover those costs. So we were paying for some other things through ESSER, through our Perkins grant, and through other funding mechanisms to cover the difference that we needed to cover. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Any
Branson.
questions?
No, just keep up the good work. 8.33, Title IX, Part A, Florida Department of Education project application for 2022 through 2023 year 2.
Can I just do a shout out to, and I know I see Miss Dell right there, but there's an important person, I mean, you are an important person, Miss Dell, but that Linda Pinker that is in the office, and these grants, the money she deals with, it's amazing what, and working with that for a little bit, it's just, I saw her the other day and spoke to her, but I just wanted to recognize that she does an outstanding job with millions and millions and millions and more millions. And she can budget these things, she's amazing. So please tell her that she was recognized and that we appreciate it. She's pretty awesome. She's amazing. She can make them balance.
Yep. That she can. 8.34, application for 2022 through 2023 school year renewal of the AFRL EFA initiative request for the district science department. And then 8.35 was the add-on item.
Mr. Bryan, if you don't mind, I would like to go back to 8.34.
Yes.
And I think one of the things, as we know in this community, we have a very science-based community, a very STEM-based community, and Miss Ellis and her team do an outstanding job bringing in a number of resources outside our normal budgetary process in order to really help not only military students, but help students in general as it pertains to science and STEM. And I just want Miss Ellis to come forward just for a second and just explain just a little bit about some of the exciting parts of this venture.
Well, we do a lot of grant writing in science and in secondary and in math, and the AFRL grant specifically is to kind of piggyback on something that Neely Calhoun started years ago, which is trying to buy some of the bigger equipment that schools can check out. Like not every classroom can have a 3D printer, or a calibrator or different kinds of fancy science equipment. But this grant will allow us to build a kind of a inventory of some bigger equipment that we can loan out, not only to support science fair, but also to just support some classroom activities and engaging kids in science.
That's
So we're very
awesome.
excited.
Great.
Plus, it offsets some of the science fair cost. Brian Mitchell and the AFRL grant helps to also support science fair. Things that we don't have in our budget, like that we are able to do some little extra things for the kiddos who work above and beyond to do a science fair project.
And when you were choosing this equipment, did the science teachers is what they've been asking for, or
Yes,
how did you
ma'am.
determine?
Yes, ma'am. We take a survey from our teachers a couple of times a year, just kind of a needs assessment. Matter of fact, we're in the process of doing that now, and we get feedback on items and technology that they desire. Right now, the big item is the large TV monitor specifically. One, these projectors are getting a little obsolete in that the bulbs cost more than the projectors do these days. And a big screen monitor is not only more cost effective, but it also has a better display. You don't have to turn the lights down to have a TV on in the room, which helps with classroom management. So that's one of the things, for example, we get feedback on from our teachers.
Awesome.
And how is this connected I see the military piece. How is that connected in here?
So the AFRL grant is
Okay.
specifically the Air Force Research Lab.
Okay.
And they have a STEM outreach person, Brian Mitchell, and he has a certain pots of money for different initiatives, and this is one he gives for regular classroom support.
Right.
It's allocated for different things. That's what this one's allocated for.
Thank you.
We kind of merge all of these. We have Title IV, which also has a STEM outreach. We have DODEA, which we also has a lot of military connected as well. And so Title IV helps us to support classes that aren't necessarily military connected. We have a few schools that fall below the military connected percentage for these grants, and Title IV helps us to support those so that everybody kind of gets supported.
Thank you.
All right.
That's great.
Thank you.
And Miss Ellis, being the true science teacher that she is, she had her nice science shirt on there. so-
Yeah, she's our scientist.
All right, so 8.35 Triumph Gulf Coast Health Academy of Northwest Florida grant funding application. And now we'll move.
And Mr. Bryant,
Okay.
on 8:35, I'd like Ms. Branscombe to come forward. And I do want to say, while she's coming forward, I think as we probably know or have read in the paper, for nursing, there's a shortage, probably not only across the state, but across the nation. And I'm very excited about this venture with the school district and the hospital over in Fort Walton Beach. But what this also helps to create is a pipeline from Okaloosa schools to OTC's LPN program to Northwest Florida State's RN program. So having a true pipeline from school all the way to the workforce is important. But this partnership specifically with the hospital, Ms. Branscombe's vision and leadership, this is a big deal.
It's huge.
Well, this is really exciting because I've been working with Football Beach Medical Center for about a year, and they are providing us 6,375 square feet of classroom space. I have invited all of you to come for a tour. Representative Maney, the hospital leadership, Mr. Chambers, and all of you would love for you to come tour the facility to see what they're giving us. This is going to allow us to have over approximately 300 students affected over the next 7 years. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but it really is when you think about it, because that's 300 students that are going to be going into the healthcare profession upon graduation. And the really cool thing about this is that the hospital has said they will hire every one of our students. And then if they want to go on to the LPN program or to Northwest Florida at their regular nursing program, the RN program, they will pay for them to go to school. And it's not just in the RN or LPN program. They'll pay for them to go to a radiology technician school, anything they want to do in the medical field. So they've guaranteed that partnership with our students as well. The cost of their facility is over $700,000 that they're providing to our students. And they are just stoked about this, just like we are, because they need those students to come work for them. So that's kind of where we are. We are looking to get that Triumph support to help us with the renovation cost, as well as some of the equipment. We will be funding some of that through our Perkins grant and our CAPE funding and those kind of things. But I know that we've got some leadership support through Triumph. We've heard that through the former CEO of the hospital, the CEO from the hospital. So they want us to get this in as quick as we can. We are going to start it in the fall. We already have 2 full classes of students that are scheduled to go in the program. And as the application states, it's Choctaw, Foote Walton, and Niceville students. And then, so the plan is to eventually, when the students become seniors, is to be dual enrolled. So they will be dual enrolled with us and OTC, or even Northwest Florida State College. I'm working with Dean Ernie at the college to make that dual enrollment partnership with them as well. So there's a lot of tiers in this, a lot of partnerships. So it's really a win-win for everybody involved.
Ms. Branscombe, I have a question for you regarding the program. So when I was in high school back in the day, I went to one of the first magnet programs in the United States. I went to a health professions and engineering high school. So one of our tracks was going into the medical field was a nursing assistant.
Mm-hmm.
So beginning in the 10th grade, or 11th grade, we were actually working in the hospitals, doing clinicals, doing, things that would help us get those certificates by the time we graduated. Is this the vision that the hospital is hoping to see, that we're going to actually have these students actually in the hospital doing hands-on things that they will be allowed to do to help them get the experience?
Ms. Bryant, that's the beauty of this, because we are so in such close proximity to the hospital. We're going to have those clinical experiences right there on the hospital
Right.
grounds. So, in the past, it's been a really challenging to get students into these facilities. And now, having that partnership with the hospital, they want us there.
Right.
And so our goal is for our students to earn their CNA certification as well as their EKG. And we are looking to eventually, we've got to get some things through the Board of Nursing, but we're also looking at phlebotomy and radiology tech. And they want us, their director of nursing has stated that her goal would be for us to take over the entire building as a health academy.
Wow.
And so they see this vision as well. I know it's something that, it will grow as time goes on, and I think the more people find out about this, the more interest we're going to get, and I think the more partnerships that we'll get, not only out of this. And our plan is not only to have this in Okaloosa County, we want to pilot this across the state. We want to take this model and share it across all the states, because there's HCA hospitals throughout the state of Florida.
Right.
And the lady I've been working with, Denise Kindusk with the hospital, she wants us to be able to do this throughout all the HCA hospitals. So we'll be kind of like the model for HCA hospitals. And we've been talking to a hospital out of Texas, and when they found out they do something similar, but they don't do it on the campus of the hospital, they're like, we should have thought of that. So, it is unique to do this partnership.
And I was going to say, when even at our school, we did medical technology. I actually drew blood, and typed it and all. So,
That's
and to be in high school to do that, it was, I hope that's the vision of this program here is to.
Well, we definitely need it, because I know that that's one of the areas that they fall short in, and they need that. And so being able to partner with them and have our students right on campus on their facility is just going to be an amazing opportunity for these kids.
Exciting.
Very,
Yes.
very
Mr.
exciting. I
Bryant
hope y'all can make
Board.
it with it.
I just want to remind you, one of the things that you all asked as it pertains to our career and technical education programs is to make sure that we're truly tying them to our local community. And this is just yet another example where the local business, the hospital, says, hey, we need help. And Ms. Branscombe doing a great job of making that connection. And just also as a reminder, Crestview High School, in essence, has a medical program. Over at Fort Walton Beach High School, biomedical. But this is just another piece to the puzzle, so to speak, of really doing a good job in the medical field.
Yeah, meeting that demand for sure.
Yep.
Great,
All right.
exciting.
Any
Thank
more
you.
questions?
Nice job.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Branscombe.
you.
All right, so now we will move down to section 9, and this will be superintendent's human resource recommendations. And as always, the first two will be informational only on Monday, 9.1 employees on administrative leave, and 9.2 deferred retirement option program, the drop. 9.3 revised substitute and temporary employee salary schedule.
I have a, Dr. Hell, what I see, the difference on this is that we are paying non-degreed and degreed the same amount now? Is that what I'm?
Yes, ma'am. So there's a lot of statutory and legal requirements that kind of are underneath the decision to do this. First of all, you'll see the $11 per hour for the non-instructional. That's in, first of all, that's constitutional law, as the voters signed a couple years ago, the increase July 1st each year, so to get to $11. But one of the things that we have done with our substitutes, knowing that the General Appropriations Act is forcing everybody to a minimum of $15 an hour next year, in order to alleviate some of the concerns of some of the substitutes, because, you know, the COVID allowance that you guys had put out there to
Sure.
kind of prop them up,
Uh-huh.
but we wanted to assure them that we weren't going all the way back to the pre-COVID rate. And since we know that we're going to have to go to $15 per hour with the substitutes next year, according to the General Appropriations Act, we felt like going ahead and bringing this now so that we could get the $11 thing, which was the statutory
Mhm.
requirement, and go ahead and do what we promised the substitutes beginning day one with the $15 per hour. So that's the explanation for that.
Okay.
And there will be no separation between the two, degreed, non-degreed, moving forward. We've already alerted the substitute roster to that effect. This is just a fulfilled promise, so to speak.
Okay, good. I just was reviewing it and it's just saw that as a big difference. And, so, good, okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Hale. 9.4 will be out-of-field report for the 2021 through 2022 school year. 9.5 is employment separations. 9.6 is personnel recommendations. 9.7 is employee transfers. 9.8, reinstatement reimbursement of sick leave due to line of duty illness, injury, medical examination. And then finally, 9.9 is leave without pay. Section 10 is discussion agenda. At this time, there has been no items moved from the consent agenda. Section 11 is construction program owners representatives business. And Dr. Kelly, I'll turn it over to you.
And we already had our meeting for this month, so I'll delay report until we have our next one next month.
Well, I know all of us have been in the schools, and it's great to see all the
They look
great
great.
projects going on. I know I was at Crestview the other day as they were scraping up the floor.
Yeah, it's great. You see it.
And Davidson's already done, and I know Lewis was underway also. But a lot of great projects going on out there, and it's great to see.
It'll be a busy summer.
Yeah, summer's definitely going to be busy. All right, so now we'll move down to section 12, and this is information technology seat management contract. And we do have two items for Monday night. 12.1, IT seat management outsourcing agreement, contract modification agreement, change order number 19 by and between the School Board of Okaloosa County, Florida, and CACI Incorporated Federal. And then 12.2, CACI task order number 2-201 for security camera repairs at Niceville High School. And now we'll move down to section 13, attorney's business. Mr. McInnes?
No report this morning.
Thank you, sir. And now we'll go down to section 14, superintendent's business. 14.1 is out-of-state student trip request. And then, Mr. Chambers, I'll turn the rest over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant, School Board. So today starts our graduation season. Many of us will be at Laurel Hill with Baker tomorrow night and the other schools next week. And I just want to remind the board and remind the viewing public that these events are also live streamed. Last year we had over 15,000 views, and that comprised of over 40 states and 7 countries.
Wow.
So you think about that. And for us being in a military community, once again, you know, we have people who are deployed, and this gives them the opportunity to see their child or their loved ones graduate. So I just appreciate Mr. Horton and his team, Mr. Mitchell and his team, Dustin Keefe, and all those folks who do the legwork in making sure all this technology works. So just very much appreciate that. As you know, next Wednesday is the last day of school, and still from today till next Wednesday, a lot of activities that are going on. But as you know, over the course of the summer, there's still a lot that occurs in our schools and within the school district. And we'll have summer school that will be starting in June, remediation programs as well. But also, as we know, there's summer camps, there's STEM camps, there's sports, there's cheerleading, dance. There's so much that occurs over the course of the summer for our students, and I just very much appreciate district staff who helps gets that going, but even more specifically, what's happening at the school level to give these students more opportunities and programs to be able to take part in over the course of the summer. One I do want to highlight, which is a CTE camp that will be happening this summer, and that's going to be for our rising fifth graders. And you think about this right here: automotive, cosmetology, welding, culinary, coding, biomed, and carpentry. So next year's sixth graders, for those who decide to take part in this camp, they're going to be taking part in those types of programs. And I don't know about you, I never took part in those types of programs. So that's pretty neat to generate that interest for the future. And this will happen at Crestview High School, Niceville High School, Fort Walton Beach High School, and Pryor Middle School, June 6th through the 9th, and June 20th through the 21st. And they can sign up online. All they have to do is go to Okaloosa Schools, and they'll be able to find out more information about that.
And I believe there's a limited number of openings for that particular camp. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir. So kind of first come, first serve, and so sign up.
Yep.
It's free also, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That's awesome.
It's free?
I do want to shift just a little bit. We had a great event yesterday. We have a student by the name of Angelique Patterson, who, you know, we have Hope Squad in our schools, and Hope Squad is a suicide prevention and awareness program that we have in all of our secondary schools, and next year we'll have it in all of our elementary schools. But Angelique Patterson was chosen to be on the National Council, one of 36 juniors and seniors across the nation, the only one in the state of Florida, and she was chosen. And if you had an opportunity to see her speak yesterday, just absolutely incredible.
I watched the playback, and she was so poised. You would have never guessed that she was, a junior.
Right.
And it was amazing. I would have thought she was. She presented herself well, spoke very well, passionate about her belief in the Hope Squad, and both of you did a very nice job in there also.
Very good.
Well, the thing about Angelique also is that those reporters ask her many impromptu
Oh, yeah,
questions.
right off the
And she was able to just handle that with poise and grace, look them in the eye, carry on, not flustered, just had her thoughts organized, just like you would expect a speech and debate person to do. She
I
did a
really enjoyed it. You don't
fabulous
have to
job.
say who it was, but somebody's phone went off twice. She looked over at that person. It was just this direct.
Wasn't me.
Not me, not me.
You don't have to say who it was, whose phone went off, but there's the look
I don't
she
even
turned.
know
I
whose
thought,
it
you go,
was.
girl. It was good. She was she was amazing.
She was good.
And I thought that was, I think, fantastic for Angelique, and also fantastic for the school district in terms of having this program. And I thank Dr. White for being there. Thank Dr. Kelly for helping and giving an even better understanding of the Hope Squad. So thank you. I want to shift to, as you know, ESSER funds. And you know, one of the components of ESSER funds that we took part in our school district was given back, so to speak, to our employees who've really helped us over the last couple of years. And specifically this year's, through the leadership of this school board, we made sure that we wanted to recognize all employees. And that second retention bonus will come out at the end of May. So there'll be another $1,000 retention bonus for every employee in the school district. So I think that's a testament to valuing our teachers, our bus drivers, our food service workers, our administrators, every category of employee that it takes to run a school system. And every category of employee makes a difference in the academic achievement and safety of our students, just in different ways. So just very much appreciate the ability to recognize our employees that way.
That's great.
And then lastly, this is the last school board of the school year while students are in session. And I want us to think back for a second, back to August, September, October, It was a very difficult start to the school year, probably more difficult than even the previous year. And again, without the employees of this school district rallying together, there's no way we would have been able to get through everything that we did. And then you move forward, and I think we transitioned nicely into a more normal school year. And I'm extremely proud of the way that we did that. But from our teachers to our health techs to our bus drivers to our administrators to our district staff, we could not have done this without them. And now, starting tonight and ending next Thursday, we're going to have students walking across the stage, and that's our ultimate responsibility. Other than keeping students and employees safe, our ultimate responsibility is to prepare students for college, the military, or the workforce. And I'm just extremely proud of the work that's been done this year, and thank the board so much for the leadership that you've shown over the course of this year. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chambers. And now we'll move down to section 15, board members' announcements and requests for information. And Dr. White, I'll start with you this morning,
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Bryant. So I do have a couple of quick announcements, and of course the superintendent already recognized Angelique Patterson and the great job that she did yesterday, and everyone else. And I hope you get a chance, if you haven't had an opportunity yet, to see that maybe on one of the broadcasts. Also, at Pryor Middle School, the Pirate Flag team finished the regular season 10-0, and they will be the #1 seed in the playoffs on Monday at the Fort Walton Beach Recreation Center, and they'll play at 5 p.m. with a championship game to follow at 7 p.m. if they emerge victorious. And then for Kenwood Elementary, congratulations to Arden Newcomer for winning the Elks Lodge Americanism essay contest. Her essay, "What Does It Mean to Love Your Country?" advances to the state level competition. That's what I have. Thank you, sir.
That's awesome. All right, thank you. And Dr. Kelly.
Okay, I don't have a lot to say, but I do want to express congratulations to the Niceville High School boys and girls track teams. Both are state champs. So congratulations to not just the team members, but the coaches, and as we know, the parents and all the support that goes along with those teams. So congratulations there. I also had an opportunity that was somewhat related to the school district, but not a school district sponsored opportunity, on Saturday to help judge the speech and debate contest put on by the Exchange Club. And we did have a local student compete in that, and that was exciting to see all of the charitable generosity, I guess, from the community who put together prize packages for those students, and to see where they came from. Many of them came from states far away. Any area that had an exchange club was able to send a student, and it was hosted locally at the island there. So a great event. If you have an opportunity to serve as a host family to an exchange club student, you might want to do that. Very exciting. Also, just to announce that the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Department, in conjunction with the Boys and Girls Clubs, are holding a teen job fair night. So now that school is about to be out, this might be interesting. A teen job fair night next Monday from 3:30 to 5 p.m. at the Fort Walton Beach Boys and Girls Club campus. So businesses can go and have an expo there, have a table, and your student can go from table to table and apply for a summer job. So I thought that was a pretty interesting opportunity. And then lastly, I'll just echo what the superintendent said about the Hope Squad Press Club, and to thank Hillary also for being there and for doing the behind the scenes that she does. And I understand she did a Facebook Live, so that was interesting. But I certainly want to thank our superintendent for having the vision to employ the opportunity to have Hope Squads in all of our schools soon, and highlighting the fact that it has been Mental Health Awareness Month, and certainly to highlight and support the first student in the state of Florida to be nominated to and accepted into the National Hope Squad Council. So thank you, Mr. Chambers. Very good event. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Dr. Kelly. Ms. Evanchik?
Yeah, yes, first I have a question. Forgive me if I missed this, but are we still doing our summer feeding program? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
all
I
right,
think for all students up to age 18.
okay. I guess, did I miss that? I'm sorry, but I don't recall that coming out, so I know that's important to a lot of families, so I'm sure that will be information will go out to the schools, right? Okay, great. Okay, excuse me. So you mentioned we start graduation. So about this time yesterday morning, I was sitting at Baker School watching the class of 22 there, and they have crossed the 100 mark. There's more than 100 graduates this year. Watching these students get awards, thousands and thousands of scholarship dollars and different awards. And this class particularly means something to me because they were freshmen when I took office for the school board. So this is my first group to see come through. And of course, what a time we've had and their tenure as high school students and my tenure on the board here. So thinking about what they've done and all those accomplishments in spite of the obstacles that were thrown at them. And I'm sure that echoes throughout our district. But so you start thinking about a lot of different situations that our students have overcome, but also our faculty, and there's a lot of wonderful kind of human interest stories coming out, but I just want to point out two that kind of spoke to me, and I'm talking about your school here at Destin Elementary. There's a teacher named Miss Pam Carroll, and she's been teaching first grade for 35 years. Well, right there, that's up for sainthood in my mind. However, she has been in the same classroom at Destin Elementary all those years, since 1987, and she'll be retiring here next week, so I thought that was good.
May I add one thing to that?
Yes.
She lives in Destin, and she went through Destin Elementary.
Yeah,
She
I did
started
see that,
there
yeah,
and
isn't that
went
great?
through, and she is just an amazing,
That's
great loss, great
yeah,
loss right there.
yeah,
Big loss.
that's very good.
Sorry,
And
I just-
no, that's
she's-
great.
she's
That's
pretty special.
I just thought that was very. And then over at Pryor, you have Miss Leslie Sintez, and I was speaking with her. I've known Miss Sintez, and she spent her tenure teaching and retiring at what?
Sorry?
Oh, I thought you were saying something about Miss Sintez. Anyway,
I was just saying that Ms. Sintez is the most tenured teacher in the entire district.
is she? No, I didn't even know that.
She is.
Well, there you go, Miss Sintez. That's extra. Okay.
Another big
But
loss.
here's the interesting thing too is that she's been over at Pryor and doing middle school, and that was her first job that was the very first year that we moved to the middle school system. And so some of you, that was in 1989, Mr. Bryant, so go ahead and tell me how old you.
I was already graduated.
Yeah. However, some of us very well remember how chaotic, how we moved to that system. And I remember being a teacher at Choctaw, and over 50% of our student body was new into that building, and that was very interesting. But how cool of Miss Sintez to have made that switch in that time, and she's also going to retire, and I'm sure that Miss Barron doesn't even like to think about it when losing her. But a lot of those, there's, I'm sure, many more numerous stories, human interest, kind of like that, because that's just Okaloosa County and what our employees do. But wanted to point that out today and wish them and the others well as we also look at retirements along with graduations. Thank you.
So, Dr. Hale, Ms. Sintez, you said she's our most, how many years? Come on, it's on the top of the
It's
list.
over for, it's
Like
well
43, maybe,
Okay.
44?
That is a testament right there at 40.
She's got more energy than.
I know.
Absolutely.
And she's a diehard Pirate fan. Gosh, unbelievable.
All right, thank you, Ms. Vancheck.
You're welcome.
And Ms. Gardner.
Yeah, it's just a couple things. First of all, congratulations to Luke Larkin. He's a student at Fort Walton Beach High School. Have to read this part of it. He is the FHSAA 3A boys 80-meter runners class 3A state champion. So another state champion coming out of Fort Walton Beach High
Wow,
School, and
that's so
again,
many.
of our high schools. Also, congratulations to Mr. Carnahan and the Destin Middle School Band. They took first place in the category of Instrumental Grand Champions of Music USA Festival at the Universal Orlando. And we're so proud of both of these schools, these individuals right there. You mentioned earlier about the graduations. Silver Sands is tonight, and Richburg is tomorrow during the day, I think at 11 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
Both of those schools have the live stream, but if you're wanting to watch it live stream, just these two schools, you do have to call the school and get that connection. It's not on the website, and it does state that you need to call the school to get the live stream. So you may want to check that out before, tonight Silver Sands is at 6 p.m., so school closes at 3, so you may want to call here pretty soon. And for Long Beach High Schools, they're going to do theirs Wednesday night at the Steve Riggs Stadium. Also, I'd like just to do another plug. The Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office, I've mentioned this a couple of times, they're offering another class of the cyber safety. This is for, again, parents only. It's the good, bad, and the ugly on cell phones, internet, gaming, social media, bullying, and more. This one's going to be at the Destin High School, and even though it's at a certain school, like a couple of days ago it was at Bruner, that's not just for Bruner students. This is for any parent that would like to attend, whether they attend a school in Destin or Niceville or maybe homeschool. But this is extremely valuable information. I just can't express enough that our parents need to be aware of the dangers that's just right at our children's, at their child's fingertips. So again, Destin High School and Destin Middle School have kind of gone together, but you do not have to be have a student at either one of those schools. It can be anyone that is interested, and I hope they have a really good turnout, and hopefully more areas will offer this. One last thing is that we have early dismissal the last day of school, so I encourage parents to contact the teachers, because they do know what time early dismissal will be, and if you aren't able to contact a teacher, I'm sure information's been sent home and it's on website. So just wish everybody a safe and relaxing summer. And you talked about how busy this summer for our schools is just as busy with the trainings and activities for our students and the cleaning and the painting. It's not just, oh, well, we're out of summer, we can just sit back, put our feet up. It's just as busy as the school year, and it's been a great school year. Great school.
And Mr. Chairman, may I
Yes, sir,
comment?
of course.
Ms. Gardner, I appreciate you bringing that information forward about social media and the information the Sheriff's Department is sharing. I know others of you have also commented on that in the past. And just to say that what little bit I know about that, parents really ought to pay attention to the one thing that you mentioned there about gaming, and the fact that these console gaming devices can also be an area of great concern that oftentimes folks might not think about that. They might think about, media, cell phones and so forth, but the gaming systems also. And I'm glad to know the Sheriff's Department's going to cover that, and thank you for bringing that forward.
Well, it's interesting you said that, because the neighbor who has a young elementary student, through gaming, a pop-up came up, and it had to do with an individual on there
Yep.
wanting information
Yep.
from the child,
That's right.
acting as if it was a character from the game.
Yep.
Right.
And it just happened to be that the parent was just in the kitchen, just
Good.
listening, and saw that this is coming across. And our parents just are not aware
you don't think
of
about
what's
that.
going on. So I'll put this out, I'll send this to you, and if you could
Yeah,
kind of
you-
pass it out also, but if we could get this in more of our different locations and areas, again, it's just another piece
Yep.
of safety that,
Yep.
whether it was through the trafficking or any of the other things, that we can just, one more thing we can do to keep our students, and to thank our Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office for providing this.
Well, thank you, Ms. Gardner, and I'll just finish up by saying congratulations to the Choctaw High School flag football team. They did not win the state championship, but they made it all the way
4
to
points.
4 points away from a state championship. But I know I was following Miss Heck on Facebook when she was putting the scores out there, and you could see them getting closer and closer. I think we needed maybe one more minute to go to overcome. But congratulations to the Choctaw girls. I know they fought hard and did a great job this season. And, flag football is
It's
really
taking
making
off.
a
I know.
big splash across the country. And Choctaw High School has actually been a formidable force since its inception in the Okaloosa County School District and across Florida. So congratulations to them. And as Ms. Gardner said, we have graduation starting tonight at Silver Sands, Laurel Hill tonight, and then, of course, tomorrow will be Richburg and Baker, and it just keeps going on and on. After the weekend, we'll have so much more going on, just a lot of great things going on. A lot of schools having award ceremonies. I will just say, Ms. Vanchek, I had the opportunity to present scholarships for the Take Stock in Children at Crestview High School and Laurel Hill School yesterday. But I do want to give out a shout out to all the mentors who make it happen for these kids to get these why did I just lose train of thought? They're scholarships.
Yeah.
Yesterday we passed out $30,000 worth of scholarships to 3 students. So, but one of the ways they get that is through having mentors.
Mm-hmm.
So I know a couple of meetings ago you mentioned that you have an aggressive goal of 100 students this year, and we're going to need 100 mentors to fill that. So
Well, I don't know about this year, but that's an ultimate goal, yeah. Mhm.
But I encourage people, if you're listening here today, if you want to make a difference in a student's life through Take Stock in Children, you can call the school district, and we will help you get paired up with a student. So,
Absolutely.
all right. So now we'll move down to section 16, and this is public comment, the 2-minute version. And we do have section 17, a public hearing.
I do have a question about the books.
Okay, let me finish reading it off real
Oh,
quick.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. 17.1, public hearing for textbook adoption, instructional materials for math grades K through 12, and that was presented by Ryan Gore. And I see Ms. Lightbourne is making her way up to the podium.
If you could just summarize the clarification, I know we had a list, we ordered all that, and then we couldn't order those. So just exactly where are we?
Okay. We are partway through the process. So
Okay.
these, again, are the ones that have now been state adopted that we're putting through our adoption process. So, and we'll probably have, I think we have at least one more group that will be coming to you because there are still 3 books that we don't have state approval on yet. 3
And this is
courses.
math?
Correct.
And are those that we don't have approval, what grade level are we
Those are
looking?
high school.
The high school ones, okay. Beyond that, everything that we have here, it's going forward?
Yes.
And we're ordering?
Yeah, well, they have to sit for, that's why it's a public hearing.
Yeah.
Now it has to sit for 30
Yes,
days. So
yes.
there's a whole timeline on them when we can order. And I'll send you that exact timeline because we do have that as to each set of books. Normally they would have all come together,
Mm-hmm.
but because they were approved at different times, each set of books has a different timeline to be able to be ordered.
In general, it's going to make it pretty tight getting those materials back, correct?
Potentially, yes.
And,
I mean, we're hoping that we've got them in a process that we should have them by the beginning of the year, but, last year we ordered at a normal rate and they were late, and it was because trucking shortage.
Yeah. That's right.
So, I mean, there's so many shortages right now, we don't know what's going to affect the orders.
Publishers have to be ready.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and what we've said is, as soon as we order, we'll have electronic access.
Yes.
So worst case scenario is we use electronic access, and then we help support teachers with our coaches and our specialists.
But again, I just want to verify that this is not, because we haven't done our part, we were prepared, but this was state action that we had to
Correct.
make a change, so.
Correct.
We
We had to wait
follow it.
until these books were not approved to begin with. That those companies had to go in and provide the changes that the state required. So they did that, and now they're approved by the state, so now we have to complete our process.
Right.
And
Okay.
so, just to follow up, so the only books that would be presented for approval will be those books that are now state adopted.
Absolutely.
And have passed muster with the folks in Tallahassee, I guess, that they're now approved for school districts all across the state to purchase.
That is correct.
Right. And once we approve those books, they will be available for the public to see during this.
They are
They're
available.
available now, right?
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say. They are available now.
They're
and
online, they're available, they can.
So when we
can
do
look
have
at
the
them.
actual public hearing, they can have
Correct.
it, and they've already had opportunity to look at the books, the materials. So-
Correct.
Right.
That's
All right.
why they sit for 30 days.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll go around the room. Mr. Strong, anything this morning? Okay. Dr. Hale, Ms. Lightborn, he already spoke, and Mr. Horton, Ms. Perry? Did you?
I just wanted.
Ms. Perry, why don't you? Okay, all right.
I think they were giving me the clue on the retention bonuses. I may have said the month of May, but the retention bonuses will come out in the month of June, the June paycheck.
Okay, all right, which is
I think they're
probably.
they're trying to take care of me, which I appreciate.
Right. Which will probably be better
verbal.
because for a lot, that will end it in June for a couple of months, and they'll appreciate that little extra coming out there.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Miss Perry, we see her from this angle here, so when she sticks her head around.
Mine's behind that pole there.
All right, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you.